Frogs are amphibians. The fact that they need moisture as part of their life cycle means that they spend much of their time in the water. This is where they lay eggs that hatch the tadpoles and eventually continue to cycle on as they grow into mature frogs, who can live on either land or in water. Frogs are commonly found in a variety of different areas on people's properties, from pools to garden ponds. In the wild, you'll find numerous different species of frogs, including tree frogs and water frogs. Depending on their species, they'll choose habitats where they have access to bodies of fresh water. Rainforests, riverbanks, and even lakeshores are popular breeding areas of frogs. Frogs play vital parts in our ecosystem. However, if you're suffering from a frog infestation in your yard or garden or even your home, it's unlikely that you are thinking about this. You may simply want them to move on to a different space, or get rid of them altogether. Let's get into how to get rid of frogs easily. Top 8 methods. One of the first questions from people who are struggling with the infestation of frogs on their property is how to get rid of frogs. When dealing with an infestation, effectively getting rid of these pests is a big concern for property owners. During the rainy season, populations can explode as they have access to a consistent supply of water in certain parts of your property. Here are 8 proven methods that will help you deal with your frog infestation. Number 1. Identify the species. The first step in the process is to identify what type of frog you're dealing with. Some frogs are protected under the law, and killing them could result in prosecution. Some tree frogs are especially endangered, and they have extensive laws helping protect them from extermination. So for you, any further, you need to correctly identify what species of frog you're dealing with. One of the easiest ways to do this is to partner with professional pest control companies, as they know best how to identify and deal with the problem. Number 2. Create a less attractive environment. One of the most effective methods to learn how to get rid of frogs is to provide them with a less attractive environment to live in. As mentioned earlier, frogs are amphibians, so they need sources of water or moisture to survive. The easiest way to remove frogs from your environment is to reduce their access to the water supply. If you find frogs infesting your pool or pond, one of the easiest ways to deter them is to use fake plastic or rubber predators. Frogs can't differentiate between a rubber snake and a real one, and once they identify a predator, the problem population should willingly leave. If you have areas of your property that are poorly drained where water is pooling, this is groundbreaking for frogs. Correctly draining your property or keeping ponds and pools covered when not in use, especially during the summer, will prevent frogs from laying their eggs that would have then hatch into tadpoles and increase the population of frogs. Number 3. Remove their food sources. Frogs eat insects for the most part. If you get rid of or significantly reduce the number of insects like flies, mosquitoes, ants, roaches, you will encourage them to move and leave your property in search of better breeding grounds. If you keep your yard lit up at night, you're going to attract bugs, and this will actively encourage frogs to breed on your property and hang around. Reducing the number of lights on at night will help reduce the food source and, as a consequence, discourage frogs from invading your yard. Number 4. Cut out the frog's life cycle. If you're looking to either rid your property of frogs or reduce the population, you're going to have to cut off their life cycle at an early stage. As mentioned previously, preventing access to pools or other sources of water will prevent frogs from laying their eggs, and dramatically reduce the number of tadpoles that can grow to be adult frogs. If you do have a pool or pond, try scooping out any frog eggs or tadpoles you encounter. This will dramatically reduce any breeding numbers in the area. Number 5. Put up barriers. Another reason you may be dealing with frog infestation is that there is a large body of water close to your home, such as a pond, river, or lake. If frogs can easily move from the shelter of your property to this water source, one of the easiest ways to prevent this is to put up effective barriers around the perimeter of your property. Plastic fences can easily be put in place as barriers in your fight on how to get rid of frogs. Number 6. Natural deterrents such as vinegar can help get rid of frogs. Before you call in professional exterminators, you might want to try a more humane method of deterring from breeding on your property. One of the most effective ways to keep frogs away is to use a water and vinegar solution. Vinegar burns frogs' feet as they're very sensitive. This will easily deter them from infesting your property and your home. Spray it in the areas where you know the frogs will be. Number 7. Predatory fish. Another effective method for controlling the frog population in ponds, for instance, is to add predatory fish in the body of water such as bass or pike. Number 8. When all else fails, call a professional. There's no denying that professional exterminators are very good at their job, but frogs are an important part of our ecosystem, and employing extermination methods should be your avenue of last resort. They are experts in using chemicals to either deter or kill frogs to prevent any issues with further infestation. But if you would like to talk to one, see what they say, we can place a link in the description below to a reputable company. Understanding the difference between frogs and toads. Both toads and frogs are amphibians by nature, and because of this, they're commonly mistaken for each other. The main difference between the two is where they choose to live, and the texture of their skin. Frogs are primarily amphibians living in water more often than inland. This means their skins are smooth and moist. Toads prefer dry land and they have bumpy dry skin. Frogs' limbs have been adapted to swimming and hopping, meaning they have longer legs. Toads tend to crawl and hop smaller distances, making their legs shorter. So to sum it up, if you're dealing with a frog infestation, one of the easiest ways to solve the problem is to find their eggs, usually in clusters, scoop them out and dispose of them. Preventing the frogs from laying eggs in the water in the first place is an even better option using covers or barriers. Another issue you need to address is the potential harm posed by toads and frogs. Toads can secrete poisonous substances that can harm your cats or dogs or anything else that decides to put them in their mouths. Frogs, on the other hand, also have defense mechanisms, but in the vast majority of cases, they usually only cause allergic reactions. Another reason you may want to know how to get rid of frogs is the fact that they attract more dangerous predators to your yard, such as snakes. How do professional exterminators work? When you're inquiring about pest control methods in your area, the best way to assess the pros and cons of using exterminators is to look through the services that they provide, search for a particular pest control service, and simply reach out to them either by phone or by email with the questions you may have. Are frogs really pests? Many people will ask you to truly consider whether frogs are pests at all. This is a word used to describe insects or animals found on farms and homes that are frustrating and annoying, and create unpleasant environments to live in and even bite and sting. So if you consider going the route of extermination, make sure it's the last resort. Are there benefits to having frogs on your property? Ask yourself the question instead of wanting to learn how to get rid of frogs: can you learn to live with them? As mentioned previously, frogs are amphibians, so they're only going to reside in and around water. For toads, you will find them mostly on land. But one thing you need to understand is the role that frogs play in your local ecosystem. They're essential to keeping the insect population controlled, so if you rid your yard of frogs, you are taking away one of the most natural sources of insect control that Mother Nature provides. Also, frogs are very good for plants, unlike other pests that eat plants. There's no denying that some species of frogs are invasive, but if you're looking for a natural source of insect control, maybe you should encourage these species to stay on your property. Otherwise, these methods we just went over will help you get rid of frogs in a humane fashion. But if this doesn't work, you can always call the professionals. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and for making it this far, if you head over to pestcontrolhelper.com/repel, you will get access to a free PDF download that lists 20 natural bug repellents that might be able to help you prevent pests from coming in and around your home and yard. The link will also be down in the description, along with a link for a great pest control company if you choose to use one. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when we release more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.